Last episode, we built this in The Sims 2, the famous 50p building based in Croydon. It basically looks like a load of 50p's stacked on top of each other. It's quirky, it's angular, it's difficult to furnish. Let's get into part 2, where I'm going to be styling some of these apartments, working on the landscaping and some of the communal areas, and yeah, just generally deciding what the vibe of this building is going to be. So if you watched part 1, you'll know that I was actually recording it while I was building. I was narrating my thought process, and the whole build was done in real time, so you could see me building it, using the different sheets and struggling in real time with some of the decisions and floor plans that I had to deal with. But now, as you might have noticed, we're back in the speed build style. This isn't a stylistic choice, actually. This is just because I reviewed the footage and realised for some reason the voice wasn't recorded. The audio didn't record. So I had no choice but to do a speed build. And actually, I think it might have taken quite a long time if I'd have kept doing that. So you got the gist of what I was doing. It was fun to do that, to do the narration in real time. I think I might do that again because, I don't know, it felt a little bit more calm. These always feel a bit chaotic. So I may go back to that. But as I say, audio didn't record, so I'm speed building. I'm narrating the speed build. It's a system that works. We're used to it by now. If you haven't seen my other videos, go check them out. It's this kind of style. And yeah, for the most part, I've been doing these speed builds, which I think if I were a viewer, I'd probably prefer. In fact, I know that as a fact because whenever I'm watching Sims 2, Sims 4 videos, whatever it may be, and I see a speed build, that to me and my impatient brain is much better actually than sitting and watching somebody go, oh, maybe I'll do this, or maybe I won't, or oh, now I've got to save and it's lagging. So actually, I don't know what came over me to change style. But you know, there's room for both, isn't there? We can do either. And like I say, I did enjoy that. I thought it was a fun twist and a something different. But anyway, let's get into what we're actually seeing me build here. So I was at a bit of a junction as to what style to go with here, because on the one hand, this is kind of being built as if it were a low rent block of flats. This is probably council flats, and in that respect, I think it probably wouldn't have a lobby as such. It would have an entrance and it might have a bin room, and it might have, I don't know, maybe at a push like a residence room. But generally what you're seeing me build here, most apartment blocks that are for lower income people wouldn't have this kind of lavish entryway. But then I thought, well, who says I'm building a low income block of council flats or whatever? It could be something different. So in the interest of actually having something interesting to build, I've decided that at least in the lobby area, it's going to be quite fancy. And as you saw there, it has a gym, it has, a concierge. Not that anyone would like spawn there, but you can just imagine. And yeah, there's another room down there that I still haven't decided at this point what I'm going to do with, but all will be revealed at the end of the video. So sit tight because there's some interesting surprises on this lot. And right now we're going through the different apartments, just putting down some wall coverings and some floor coverings. And I find this quite useful to do all in one go. But invariably, when I get into furnishing one specific apartment, I will tweak wall coverings and floor coverings just to kind of match the vibe that emerges. I actually don't really plan what I'm going to do at all when I'm furnishing these. I just start throwing down furniture, and I think soon enough you get into the swing of it and a vibe emerges. So yeah, it's not that important really to have wall coverings and floor coverings and all this stuff done all in one go. But I don't know. I just find when it comes to furnishing, it's useful to have a starting point. So that's why I do this all in one go. Maybe that's normal. I think it might be actually. I mean, the way they differentiate build mode and buy mode, it kind of implies you're meant to do one after the other. But I just dart all over the place. I mean, you can see out the front, I've put in a car park and trees and some paving, and yeah, I always flip back and forth between it because I mean, there's no rules, are there? You can do that. And sometimes you're just wanting to build and do kind of everything in build mode. And then, yeah, before long, it's just like boring now. I want to mix it up. But having said that, on certain flats, I start getting a vibe like this one, for example. I just thought it would be great if in this building, if we had a flat that really was old school, looked like it hadn't been renovated since the building was constructed. So maybe I'm thinking that's like 1970 for this. And obviously we couldn't miss the opportunity to do an avocado bathroom. which if you have never seen one of these in your life, then, I mean, where have you been? It's a staple of the 70s. I mean, I say this like I was there. I firmly wasn't by a long time, but they stuck around. I think my grandma had, in one of her houses, I've got this vivid memory of being young and seeing this avocado bathroom. And what an iconic choice that they made. And since then, I feel like in the, I guess, like 90s, 2010s, we looked back like, what on earth? It's despicable. It's disgusting. Bathrooms should just be white. And so we stuck with that for a long time. But now I feel like we've started to look back and go, actually, it was kind of a vibe. Would I do it in my own house? No, definitely not. But I can look back and I can appreciate the vision. It was the style at the time. I get it. It was bold. Choices were made. So yeah, anyway, you saw that a few floors down. We went for an avocado bathroom, and I'll get more into that later. But right now we're on the top 2 floors, which are the big penthouse style apartments here that take up the entire floor plan, as opposed to the ones on the lower floors where you have 2 flats per level. So this, I think, is the very top one. And as you can see, it's quite a massive bedroom there that I'm working on with that yellowy orange carpet. And now, where am I now? See, this is what I mean about these speed builds. You start getting into the swing of describing something. And it's like, okay, never mind, I'm on to something else now. But yeah, this is one of the lower ones. But if I remember rightly, this one kind of was a little bit vintage as well. It wasn't super modern. A lot of wood in this build, which if you've watched my other videos will be no surprise. I can't help myself. But then what else are you meant to use? There's so many options for wooden furniture in this game. You just kind of have to lean into it. And I think this is the first one I'm really furnishing properly for the first time. So it's this one that's really kind of setting the blueprint for the other flats that are in this layout, because probably the kitchen would be in the same place. They're not going to build kitchens in all different rooms in these kind of buildings. So it makes sense that even though they can be different in style, they would have broadly like similar layouts. So yeah, as you can see, I mean, what would you say the era of this apartment is? It's not like super old school, but plainly, like, it's not modern exactly. So I don't know. But yeah, I mean, even like choices like this bathroom, it's not the avocado bathroom that I was mentioning. But again, like, it's a bit old school. It's not probably been modernized in a while, but why bother? It looks good. It looks fun. And yeah, and it was during this moment that I realized those massive windows in the bathroom. I mean, there's not really a great deal of curtain options in this game. There's just these ones that I'm using now. So would you realistically have like floor length curtains in a bathroom next to the shower? They'd be sopping wet. I mean, I guess they could double up as a shower curtain, but obviously you wouldn't do that. So yeah, we're just having to pretend that the most private area in the whole building, in the whole apartment, isn't completely open to a first floor window. I think it might even overlook like oh no, I'm just realizing now, I think it might even overlook a playground. So it's not okay on so many levels. But luckily the Sims aren't aware of that, and nor should you be either. Just park that thought. Let's not pick at that any further. Let's get on to this exciting thing. What am I doing now? Tiles. Let's talk about that rather than strange bathroom window views. And while I go around putting lights in this flat, I just want to take a second to say, if you are enjoying the video so far, or if you like any of my videos I've been doing, please do give the video a like. It really makes a big difference. I'm trying to get the channel to grow, that's the plan. I want to keep doing this. I'm really enjoying it, and I see the regular people that are commenting, and it's amazing to me that you keep coming back, and I really, really appreciate it. So do keep commenting, do keep engaging with the videos. It can only boost the algorithm. So help me out. I really appreciate it. Yeah, I wasn't really sure if I was going to stick with this. I had the idea to do this channel, and as you'll know now, I've done like, I don't know, maybe 6-ish builds. But, it really could have gone either way. I could have started this and just been like, nah, it was fun for a week. but not had the kind of follow through to stick with it. But no, I feel like I am sticking with it. And as I say, it's really great to see those same people and then new people commenting on the videos, letting me know what they think, what they like, what they didn't like, what they'd want to see in future, all that kind of thing. It's really cool to me and just makes this whole thing feel so much more rewarding, rather than me just doing this and like screaming into the abyss and nobody answering. So yeah, let me be cute and cringe for a minute and just be like, I really appreciate you guys. It's yeah, I'm really enjoying getting stuck into this. So a big thank you if you're one of my returning viewers, one of the subscribers of the channel, or if this is your first time seeing one of my builds and you like what you see, you know what to go and do. So enough of that. Let's get back into what I'm actually doing here. This is one of the awkward shaped apartments. In part one, we were despairing about this because they've got this massive diagonal wall. It's not easy to build on a diagonal in The Sims 2. You officially can't even do diagonal furniture, but with a cheat you can. So it's a bit higgledy-piggledy, but we're making it work as best as we can. Remember, this game came out in 2004. This is a very old game at this point. So when this game came out, okay, quick maths, which I don't know why I'm attempting. I'm very much not capable of any maths, let alone quick maths. So this game came out in 2004. It has therefore been 21 years since it came out. So if I were okay, let me do this. Stick with me. Stay with me. If I were building, okay, right. If I were playing a game in 2004 that was 21 years old, it would be from 1983, I think. Somebody check my maths. But yeah, I mean, can you imagine talking to some bloke in 2004? He's like, hey, come and watch my... I've been making content about some game from 1983. I mean, actually, I'm saying this, but I guess that was quite an iconic decade for video games. It kind of was the decade of video games. So maybe my point doesn't even work. But you get what I mean. It's been a long time since this game came out. And back to my original point, which I started about 2 minutes ago. Diagonal walls, this game doesn't like them. You can do them, but you can't put furniture next to them without a cheat. So yeah, we have to get a bit creative. And all the while I've been going through this mental mathematical breakdown, you've seen me furnish this apartment, which was one of my favorite ones, actually. I really liked the style in the end. Again, don't know what that style is. Couldn't name it if you asked me to, but I liked it. It had like these little red touches and felt a little bit more mature. And I think that's a fun thing about doing an apartment build, is that you can do so many different styles. It doesn't have to be pick a style and go with it for the whole house. For example, if you were just building a single family home, you can have, in this build, I think, what did we say it was? It was about eight or nine apartments. So yeah, you really can get loads of different styles in one go. And because it'd be completely different people living here, the apartments don't have to have anything to do with each other. So yeah, I quite like that. It keeps me interested and keeps a bit of variety. The only snag in all these builds, I feel like I didn't build a single good hallway. Which, okay, like how good can a hallway be? But they kind of can be. And yeah, I didn't think any of these really were like, okay, that looks nice. They're not big spaces, and there's a lot of doors going into them, so you're quite limited. But even despite that, sometimes when you're furnishing, it can be a really small space or a really awkward space, and somehow the stars align and you end up making something that looks quite good. But not in this not on this occasion, in my opinion. I don't think any of the hallways really were standout achievers. So yeah, I mean, it's fine. They're hallways. We can move on. I don't even know what I'm saying. That's how much I don't know. Okay, we're back outside. What are we doing? A bit more of the landscaping and these kind of communal areas. Obviously, with this being a octagonal lot, we have these kind of strange little shapes around the building. And, it makes sense to put some stuff in there for the residents to go and do. I've built a playground. Would you be living here with a child? Maybe on the top two apartments, there's room for a child to live there. There's a second bedroom in both of those, but the rest of them are one beds. So I don't really know how much use you're going to get out of a playground in this lot, but whatever, we went with it. And I believe right now we're working again on that flat with the funky avocado bathroom that we spoke about before. So yeah, as you can see, gone with some questionable choices of cabinets there, leaning into that old school, maybe 70s vibe. But the truth is, I don't really know. I'm kind of just going off vibes, which what else can you do? You've just got to go with vibes sometimes. That's what I've been basically doing in this build. So yeah. But you can tell it's definitely not been modernized. This is an apartment. You look at those sofas, for example, no one's, but do they even still make those sofas? Again, I don't know if there's something wrong with my brain or if it's just the Sims 2 excessive playing of the Sims 2 that's getting to me, but I'm getting to a point where I'm looking at some of these pieces of furniture like maybe they're actually quite cool. Like, is there something wrong with me if I quite like that sofa? I don't know, it's quite fun. But yeah, this apartment in particular went quite big on the clutter. Another reason I think I quite like building in this style is it lends itself really well to clutter. A lot of the items that we get in The Sims 2 that are like clutter and little knickknacks and things like that, they're not particularly modern. And I think, is clutter something that's I was going to say, is clutter a thing of the past? Obviously, it's not. But, you know, modern houses really try and go for more minimalism and putting things away, storage. Whereas I think old school houses, you would just see more of the owner's possessions out on display, visible, jammed on the walls in these kind of every surface with something on it. So I don't know. There's something quite nice about building like that. It's quite liberating to just like throw down loads of random stuff from the catalog, and it kind of works. Whereas I struggle a bit. I think it's a few apartments after this one, or maybe it's the next one actually, because I think we're near the top now. And yeah, when I try and do the more modern style, love it. But yeah, you have to be a bit more clean and minimal, and sometimes it's hard to make it look like you haven't just not furnished it, you know? So yeah, these are the things you have to deal with, guys. It's difficult being me. Yeah, we've clearly got to that point in the video where just obviously ran out of things to say and talking absolute rubbish. So yeah, stay with me. I'm sure I'll find my way back in a second. But that's the old school apartment done with the avocado bathroom. Now moving on to the one next door. Again, not super modern, but very nice style in this one, if I do say so myself. I really, really liked this style. That table, where has that been hiding all my life? Love doing apartment builds like this because it really pushes you to find more and more random items, like that table, which I'm very glad to know exists. But yeah, here is it's kind of, the flat next door is a bit more unkempt, whereas this one is slightly older in style, but still very much kept very nicely. And I think even if you walked into this flat today, you'd say, like, oh, it looks really nice. And I mean, actually, you definitely would, because who has this much wood in their apartment? And I'm so jealous. I wish I was able to have this much wood in my apartment. It makes it look so good, in my opinion. So hopefully this is your style too. If you're still watching this, then it probably is. Or maybe you're just watching it and, I don't know your sentiment, do I? You could be watching this, like, disgusted with what you're seeing, but we'll never know. Well, we could know if you commented, but please don't comment hateful things on my videos. I think I might just immediately delete the channel. No, in a kind of weird way, I'd quite love that. I mean, okay, no, I wouldn't love hate comments, but there's something quite scandalous, isn't there, about having haters? Who doesn't? What do they say? The only thing better than no, let me start again. The only thing worse than being spoken about is not being spoken about. That's the new attitude I'm taking for this channel. I I said before I'm going to find my way back from my absolute nonsense narration, and I think I'm yet to do that. So let's try and focus for a second. This apartment, I was just talking about it, how I thought it looked really nice with all the wood, and that continues into the bedroom. I think clearly this person, they're a bit successful. They've got some money. They've invested in their apartment. They've made it look quite nice, and this bedroom, who wouldn't be happy to live there? It looks really nice. And again, I went for some more kind of rich colours, reds and browns and warm tones, quite luxurious mirrors, for example. So, I think, yeah, clearly an apartment somebody has probably lived in for a little while, but they've spent some money, they've given it some love. And yeah, it shows, I think. So here we are then in the penultimate floor. This is the, God, don't ask me what level we're on at this point, but this is the one below the very top floor. And it is one of the two apartments that cover the entire floor plan of the building. So a bit more room for the Sims to live in. 2 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, and yeah, just generally a little bit more space. So still kind of figuring out the vibe of this apartment. It ends up looking nothing like this in terms of the kind of style and the colours, but it's a process, At this point, I'm throwing down items thinking, would it have a grand piano and then this like IKEA seating? Probably not. So I have to, in the end, make a decision and kind of go in one direction or the other. And you'll see, stay tuned, you'll see where this goes. I'd be intrigued to see what you think of this one, actually, because it's not really a style I've done all too often. Although, is it not? It has quite a lot of wood paneling. I just like I said before, I really it's a disease. I can't help it. And I won't apologize. It is what it is. But here we go then. A nice little cinema room. That's pretty cute. It's not fully separated, but because this main living room, I kind of treated it a bit more like a parlor room. You've got a piano, you've got some seating areas, bookshelves, then some dining table kind of area, but no TV in there, which is a little bit more, it's a bit less modern. You would obviously point your sofas and your furniture at the TV these days, for better or worse. We all probably do that if we've just got the one living room. But because this flat has the benefit of 2, it has a whole separate TV area, which is nice. Then the master bedroom, you just saw me doing a little bit of work on there. It's just in the top of the screen now. Has a walk-in wardrobe section. And then, yeah, we'll get onto it in a second by the looks of it, because I'm doing the child's bedroom, the only child's bedroom in the whole block of flats. So these 2 children have exclusive use of the playground, it would seem. And they're on the top floor. Maybe they're kind of bratty. Maybe they know that they live in one of the big apartments, and they make the other residents feel inferior. Maybe that's what's going on in this block of flats. And then the parents' bedroom, we are now working on with the walk-in wardrobe, well, kind of the walk-through wardrobe, the main kind of large bedroom area, and then a whole bathroom ensuite. Plenty of room for them. So whichever sim you moved in here, there's a good amount of variety, whether it's a single sim just starting out in life, or whether it's basically like a full-on family. There's something on offer for all sims in this block, which I think gives a good bit of variety. And I've said this before when I'm building apartments, I really like to play the game in apartments when I'm doing like actual live mode or whatever, because when you're in just a regular house, you have people sort of walk onto the lot, but it can feel quite isolated just being stuck there. And because you have to go through the loading screen, it's a whole thing. I just never leave. The Sims basically just live and die on the lot, and I just can't be bothered to make them leave. Occasionally I do, but not very often. So this is a good compromise, I've always found. I think it's made me feel like, there's a bit more going on, and it's probably the closest thing we have to like an open world in a way, in the sense that you can just sort of go and knock on other people's doors and go in and visit them, and it's not like having to go through a whole loading screen. The apartment just basically it's like grayed out until you knock on the door, and then it loads, but without a loading screen. So it's a good thing. But yeah, this top floor is a completely different style from the one below. It's, I mentioned before, much more modern, fewer frilly vintage accessories. You wouldn't see like a like little spice rack or a load of little oven gloves or whatever it was I put in the other one downstairs. It's just pretty, lots of utility. And again, like I mentioned before, but it can sometimes be a bit difficult to make these apartments not feel just like underfurnished. So having to make quite a few choices to avoid that if possible. But I thought that bathroom was quite nice. I never usually do them like that. And the main bedroom in this apartment, figuring it out here, but I've done this thing again where I've used turned round bookshelves and lowered shelves to kind of make a built-in bed unit kind of thing, and turned one of the bookshelves back around, which I think this actually looks quite nice. But again, these windows, there's just no curtains that fit them, apart from the really long ones, and it just wasn't the vibe in here. So I've ended up putting that painting over the window to kind of look like some blind slash, I don't know what, but it's covering the window behind the bed, which was needed because it's bad feng shui to have a bed up against a window, I believe. Somebody tell me if I'm wrong, but I think that's true. But yeah, this whole bedroom suite is basically like a whole one bed flat in itself, to be honest. It's got seating area, which I think is actually bigger than the main seating area, this whole corridor to the wardrobe area, a bathroom, and yeah, just everything you would want, everything you could dream. Very lucky Sims that live here. This is a good flat, I think. I'd be happy to live here. And just working on the bathroom now. And I think when I've done this one, there's a few more little bits I do to the outside, so stay tuned for that. But we'll almost be done. So a big well done if you watched this far. That's 2 whole videos you've sat through and listened to me rambling. So big thank you for sticking with it. Making our final tweaks to this apartment, putting in lights, and then actually we have these downstairs rooms to do. So I'll razz through these. I think I'm not doing too much, but we had these spaces and I wasn't really sure exactly what to do, but I thought let's include things that none of the other flats have room for. So for example, a bar, a snooker table, and then there's the gym, which we saw earlier. It has a sauna. There's really lots for the residents of this block to do. It's got good amenities. You'd be quite happy, I think, if your building had half these amenities. I definitely would. So yeah, there's a good bit of variety. So this side, yeah, as we said, we got the gym, this little funky kind of room, bit of a lounge, and then on this side, it kind of felt like I'd made a little bit too much room here, but I thought if the residents wanted to have a meeting or whatever it was, you just put a table down there, a photo booth, why not, and some sofas. Can't go wrong, really, can you? But I don't know, it's looking a bit like a staff room. It looks a bit like a staff room. I mean, maybe if there was a concierge here, he or she could go and take a little break, play some snooker. Don't know. It's all completely made up in my head, so it's not going to be a problem for you that you'll encounter. So cinematic clips are coming up very shortly to show this block in action. Thank you again for watching. If you haven't liked the video yet, then why not? Please go do it. It really, really helps me, and I would love to hear from you. Do drop me a comment, and I'll see you in the next video.